I'm big into optics, not because I think that it should be about how something looks, but I think in business, one really needs to be aware of how something is perceived. Now, here's where it gets tricky. When it comes to optics, when it comes to other people's perception, you can control the message, but you can never control the interpretation. I've worked with people who really so badly want to control their image. And I think that's important because all we have is our reputation. But there comes a point where you can't control everything. If Hollywood stars have full time PR people to control their image and they still can't, what hope do the rest of us have? Think about it like Hollywood, art of any kind, a painting, a piece of music, a dance, whatever it is, the viewer is going to have their own interpretation of it. So you can think that you've got such a strong message, but it doesn't come across because of the other person's perception of it. All of these things are open to interpretation. There are a lot of things in this world you can control, but someone else's mind is not one of them. But optics are different. Optics are about values. If you do something that looks bad in the eyes of others, it usually is because of a value disconnect. Like it looks bad when you wear a jacket saying, I don't care, when supposedly doing humanitarian work. That's optics. But let's say you want to volunteer at a homeless shelter. You think that this is a good thing. It's in line with your values. You think you're controlling the messaging. Local hero volunteers at homeless shelter. You think you're in 100% control of the narrative, but you're not. Not everyone is going to see that as a good thing. How can that be? You say, I'm volunteering at a homeless shelter. Who can see that as a bad thing? People can, depending on their perspective. What if that particular shelter has had a shady past? Or what if people just don't like the idea of homeless shelters? In your mind, you see it as this is a really good thing for someone to be doing, but not everyone's going to see it that way. You cannot control interpretation. Now, if you score an interview on the local news and you explain why you're doing it, your intentions, why you believe it's a good thing, then you can help shape the narrative. You can put yourself out there in the best way you know how, but you're still not controlling the interpretation. So feeling that you have 100% control out of anything is misguided. Again, I've worked with people in business who really want to control everything about their image, their words, their appearances, and that's great to a point, but you can't control everything. If you walk down the street and someone takes a picture of a building and you're walking by in front of it at the time, you don't control where that person puts that picture. You never have 100% control. So while I strongly believe that one must protect their reputation because reputation is really all that we have, there's a difference between protecting your reputation and trying to control the uncontrollable. You can control the words that come out of your mouth, but you can't control how someone's going to interpret that. So make sure that your words and your actions align with your values, and then you can't go wrong. The only things that can harm a reputation are doing something unethical. So just don't do unethical things and you won't have to worry about your reputation. But if you're so afraid to take any action because you're scared that anything will negatively affect your reputation, then you'll be too afraid to do anything.